Welcome everyone to another edition of Play It Through, and on this edition it's Codename Viper, brought to us by Capcom. The game in a lot of ways is similar to the game Rolling Thunder. As we begin, you can pick one of three difficulties. I'll be playing on the highest difficulty setting. You must travel to 7 different hideouts, save a fellow member who was held captive there, as well as then there's an 8th and final level that we'll be doing after that. You can't select the order or anything, it's just they tell you straight up how many levels, and you can see it on the map as the helicopter moves around it. Regardless of playing on the hardest difficulty setting, this game is very difficult. I've always loved this style of gameplay though, so it's something that I've gotten used to and had a pretty good time getting it down for this video. You'll notice throughout the levels there are these like doorways you can go into, some of which will just hold some extra ammo, a lot of which will be nothing, and some of which are potentially the place where the person you need to rescue is located. The thing about it is though, you don't know which spots they're going to be in each time, so you have to check each of those potential locations until you do find them. There are other hostages you can end up saving along the way that end up counting towards a bonus. Health-wise, you only have 2 hits, and a bullet will take away both of your health, while running into an enemy only takes away 1. It does replenish between levels, and you can find extra health containers along the way. Up here, we find the location of the first of the guys we need to save. Now that we've saved him, we just have to focus on getting to the end of the level. I'm going to take the top path here until I make it to the green soldier in the window and then drop on down and run quickly over to the right to finish up level number 1. This is one of those games with 2 kind of goals that I always have in mind. Keep moving and preemptively fire. Get ready to always hit that trigger button, because if you aren't already about to hit it, the enemy is going to see you and end up hitting you before you end up even getting a bullet out. Next up, level number 2 here. We're going to immediately begin firing. Any guy who's wearing blue is going to take 2 shots. There are also the other enemies that can potentially take 2 shots. Here you can see one of the skeletons there instead of one of the people that we could rescue. Thankfully, with like the people that take multiple shots, you can hit them once and then do a quick duck shot, and you'll finish them off. Saving some more hostages. These guys that pop out of crates, you want to hit from as far away as you can. As soon as you get up close or give them a second, they will end up firing at you. Here we can pick up some more ammo. Always useful to pick up that or the assault rifle ammo. You automatically switch to the assault rifle once you have ammo for it, unfortunately. Up here is where I was trying to get to down below. I thought the doorway was down there instead. Gotta keep checking every one of these doors, eventually finding the location of the soldier. Heading up here to the top. Get some extra time, though usually time isn't something that's much of an issue for me throughout the game. Here I'm going to do a big leap over to the left, and there is the location of the hostage, and we end up getting the grenades, so now we just got to finish up the stage. I like that as you progress, each of the people you save gives you a little bit more of the leather until you're able to decipher the whole thing and figure out what's going on. The whole checking of the doorways and the hostage thing reminds me a bit of like Shinobi. Another one of those games that I've always really enjoyed playing through. Next up, we're going to fire at a blue soldier immediately in front of us, a little bit ways in. You can just grab the first door and free a hostage. If you continue to hold the button when you go through a door, it'll stay that way, in which case you can get enemies that are in front of you to move away from it so you can then come out. There is a second hesitation though when it's turning back around, so potentially an enemy could move back in front of the door during that, but still it's something that's very useful to use. Hit the green soldiers, ducking as they come out, that way you don't get hit immediately by any of their fire as soon as they end up appearing. Until I have like over 200 bullets, I pretty much will consistently pick up the ammo just to be sure. Hold the door for a moment for these guys to pass, and then I can keep on running. Down here, another hostage, once again, popping out the door and firing immediately because I let go of the button too early. Thankfully right here, though, is a heart container, giving us a little bit more health. So now, when we have full health, we can at least survive a bullet. There's a total of 3 of them, so you can get a maximum of 5 in the game. In this run, I ended up only getting the 3, though. Thankfully, it's all that I ended up needing. Of course, more health would be useful, but you get used to this game as far as being able to survive, and if I ended up dying, it was reset and start the game over from the beginning. Thusly, I played the first couple of levels of this game a lot, that's for sure. These birds are extremely annoying, gotta quickly fire backwards. Once you get a little bit far in, though, you can just run to the door and finish up the stage. Onwards to area number 4. Usually a blue soldier begins each of the stages pretty much. A little bit ways in, we're going to grab some extra ammo, stay inside until the statue ends up moving away. It can end up hurting you, so you got to be very careful not to run into it. Get some extra machine gun ammo from here. Now we have plenty for the level. Be careful moving up the staircase-like platforms here. Blast the enemies on both directions as you do so they don't catch up with you and potentially run into you from behind. Jump over here to the right. You can get another one of those hostages saved. A lot of times I forget which doors are the ones I'm specifically trying for, and I end up trying more than I should, and sometimes I've retried doors a few times, and that consistently would happen in runs where I thought I hadn't checked the door yet, and just to be sure, I ended up rechecking it. Work my way down to the bottom, the statue on the top. I'm going to go past it, then immediately jump to the platform to move behind that statue so that I can avoid the other one on the bottom area. Be careful of the flame, just gotta wait for it to kind of go back and then you can make a small jump over it. As you walk through this forest area, just keep firing every few seconds so that you can end up making sure that the enemies in front of you will be taken down or at least hit so that you can then follow up with another attack. Jump up here, immediately duck and fire in whichever directions you need to in order to take out all the enemies. Then continue on and hit this door. Hopefully it's the one that will end up having the hostage guy behind it. As you're walking, just use those shots every few seconds. You can take the upper path if you want. It's still the same enemy you're going to have to pretty much deal with. When you drop down, be very careful of the enemies kind of bombarding you, and then start making your way through the forest area, and then to the door. Area number 5, it can be a little bit difficult in this level to see the doors in the background, just because of the whole color scheme going on. Underneath of this platform, duck and take out all the enemies on both sides before continuing on, something that you'll be doing a lot here. Then right after that, you have some lava below. Be very careful. Shoot the zombie creatures as you make these jumps so that you can hit them before you end up landing on the platform where they are above it. In the next area, some of them will end up chasing you a little bit. They are a little slow, so you can outrun them for a little while if you want to. Turn around if necessary to finish off whichever ones are chasing you. I'm going to wait a second to try to get the zombie to get out of the way. He almost ends up hitting me because he came back at the wrong second, but thankfully I was able to avoid it. Find another one of those clocks right behind this door, and we end up getting more time. Be careful of this fire spewing machine as you make your way through the next area. There's several of them, including also then drips coming from the ceiling during a few parts. Jump up here, duck down immediately to take out the green soldier. Then work your way down several platforms to the bottom area. Shoot the soldiers on each one of the staircase-like platforms as you work your way up, and then quickly work your way along the platforms, watching out for the dripping and making sure that you don't fall down into that wonderful lava below. Here we find the location of the soldier here, so now we have the grenade. I think the middle one of those three is the only one that ends up having anything, the one hostage that we save, but I usually end up checking them anyway. Next up, this level is a little interesting as we have these like pipes that we can take upwards. Enter inside, press up in order to jet yourself upwards. Stopping by this door on the left, getting some assault rifle ammo. Gonna head inside here, riding up the next elevator-like thing to the top. Head over to the left where you'll take one down just a little bit. Be careful of the electrical shock going around the ground. Here we end up finding the location of our grenade guy pretty early on here. Soldiers are going to be coming down the tubes at this point in each one that you are about to see, so be prepared to fire as soon as you see another tube in front of you. Take one of these two up and then take this one up. Head to the right and take this one up. After taking a few more up to the top level, we'll be heading over to the right side. Just keep going a little bit farther, and you'll find the door that we have to grenade. Onwards to area number 7, only one more area after this. Thankfully the last area you don't have to worry about saving anybody. Be very careful along these conveyor belts so you don't end up falling into the spikes. It is instant death if you end up hitting them. Be careful, especially right here. When you fall down here, you don't end up hitting either the ones on the wall or the ceiling. It may take a moment, but wait for this guy to fire and fire at him first. Then work your way through these pressers one by one, just carefully moving so you don't get crushed. Here we have some more of them. Just watch out that they don't end up coming out at you while you're on that bottom level. Make a short jump as the one retracts into itself. And then up the series of conveyor belt-like steps very carefully. Near the top, some debris will fall down, so be careful of it as you make your way to the top. Once there, we're heading over to the right side, using the various platforms to kind of make our way through. A few enemies may get in our way. Here's a good spot to check. Jump up here, take out a few soldiers on the staircases. Right after that, we make it to another door, which this one ends up having the guy that we need to save. It's now time for the final level of Codename Viper. As you can see, we begin this giant mansion, heading over to the right, start firing at the enemies that come towards you. You can check down here and get some extra ammo. Like I said, you don't gotta worry about saving anybody, but there are some items behind some of the doors still located here. Thankfully, the final boss is extremely easy if you have the strategy down. So even when we do make it to the end, thankfully that part isn't going to be too bad. Watch out for the electricity that comes down and hits the statues, causing rocks to kind of like fall off of them. Each time you like back and forth here, there may be an enemy that spawns, so be sure to fire in whichever directions you turn. The moving and then the like duck fire is extremely efficient for dealing with a lot of the enemies, because while you duck from immediately firing, the enemies that would potentially shoot as soon as they get on screen, they will end up missing you, or you'll be able to at least tell that a bullet's coming your way, and you have a better chance to hold down the duck button and avoid getting hit. Climb up here just a few more platforms and go inside here for the final boss room. Thankfully you get your health back, so you have full health going into the boss fight. This boss is extremely easy for us. We're going to get to the opposite side of him and then just blast him really quickly with the assault rifle. It doesn't even take that many bullets in order to take him down. Jump over his fire, get to the other side, just mash it. You're going to get hit probably once. That's why it's good that you at least get one health container throughout the game, so you can at least survive one shot, and you will end up taking him down that quickly. You can try to avoid his bullets and such, but it's so much easier just to get to that other side real fast and take him down. So there you have it, Codename Viper on the NES. This is something that I've been working on for a while now. In fact, a couple of years I've been doing random runs, so it at least finally did come together, and I'm glad that it did. It's a difficult game, but one that I still enjoy playing through for sure. And with that, that's going to wrap up this episode of Play It Through. I'd like to thank you for watching, and of course, I hope you enjoyed.